What did we learn from week 2 in the NFL? Well, personally, I'm more confused than ever. But it's still early in the season. First off, let me say that I was 8-8 with my picks this week. So I at least broke even. I was worried with some of the early games, but the night ones, they caught me up. 12-4 last week, and now overall record of 20-12. So I'm still in the green right now. Though, of course, I would like to be a little bit better. Want to separate my wins a little bit more from my losses. But let's talk about what happened last week. There's a lot of shit going on. A lot of shit. Let's just say, first and foremost, that I think the only thing I really want to talk about is that, well, Arizona beat the Patriots, and I can't even believe it. I still don't understand really what happened. But yeah, the Arizona Cardinals are now 2-0. But once again, I have to point out the fact that last season the Bears started 7-3 before finishing the season on a very long losing streak, whereas the Broncos started horribly and finished the season with a very long winning streak and even won a playoff game. So it's still very early in the season. Keep that in mind, both Arizona and Saints fans. Because right now, the Cardinals, they beat the Seahawks, and the Seahawks beat the Cowboys beat the Giants beat the Bucs beat the Panthers beat the Saints also lost to the Redskins, who just lost to the Rams, who just lost to the Lions, who lost to San Francisco, who beat the Packers, and the Packers beat the Bears, who beat Indy, who beat the Vikings, who beat the Jags, who lost to Houston, who beat Miami, there's a lot of shit going on here. I mean, it's still very early in the year, and I think a lot of these teams are still trying to figure out, some of them are trying to figure out who they are, their identity. And right now, early in the season, while yes, it is always better to get off to a good start, winning in November and December are much more important. So we'll wait till after Halloween before we start crowning anybody champions. Don't put Arizona in the Super Bowl just yet. It's still September. We got a long season to go. But yeah, I just want to point out that with the Giants, I did not really see that coming. I figured they would win. I thought that the Bucs were about to prove me wrong. But then that second half, just wow. Did not see that coming at all. And with the Saints, I probably should have seen that coming, just because, Cam Newton and RG3 are two very similar athletes. I really shouldn't have been too shocked to see Newton do a lot of the same things, dismantling the Saints off defense in so many of the same ways. But I still think that the Saints should be able to turn it around by the end of the season. However, let's point out one thing, though. The Saints are 0-2, and the only other winless teams right now are the Chiefs, the Titans, the Raiders, the Jaguars, and the Browns. Meanwhile, Arizona undefeated, and the only other undefeated teams at the moment are the Texans, the Eagles, the Chargers, the Falcons, and the 49ers. All of those teams are expected to be at least fighting for a playoff spot. So right now it's a crazy season. We still got so much more to go, though. Right? More than anything else, the thing that really stood out to me in week 2 were the refs. The referees made a few mistakes in week 1, but it seemed to only get worse in week 2. You expected them to get better as the year goes along, but now they're making detrimental, game-changing mistakes with the calls. There are blatant penalties that no flag is thrown. There are ridiculous things that they call that they should have let go. And there have also been times, like with a pass interference call in the Ravens-Eagles game, that they called it on the wrong player. And honestly, the worst thing about all of it is that you see it, the violence is escalating. And people are taking unnecessary hits during and after the play. There are too many fights happening on the field, too much pushing and shoving. It won't be long before punches start getting thrown. The referees do not have control over the players. And the safety of these athletes could end up becoming a serious concern as the season progresses. And it's something that I am worried about right now, because this is just it's despicable. It really is. And I will finish this segment by talking about the Thursday night game, which these things are really messing me up. But let's talk about it anyways. The Giants allowed 34 points to the Buccaneers. The Panthers held the Buccaneers to 16 points. The Giants' defense is still injured. They allowed one of their corners is out for the year. Amakamura, however you say his name, Prince. I don't know if he's going to be playing in the Thursday night game yet, but he hasn't played yet this season. The Panthers, they did a fantastic job establishing their ground game last week with the combination of Stewart, Williams, and Newton. Whereas the Giants, Ahmad Bradshaw got injured last week. And at this point in time, I have no idea whether or not he'll actually play. I'm not going to speculate on his status without any certainty at the moment. And I seriously doubt that Eli Manning can repeat that 500-yard performance that he had this week. I mean, it was amazing. I will give him that. It was an amazing performance by Eli, but I don't think he's going to do it 2 weeks in a row. I think that the Panthers actually have the advantage in this one. And as much as I've been rooting against the Panthers this season just because everyone's putting Cam Newton in the Super Bowl, right now I think the Giants are just hurting physically. And I think we could see the Panthers just take advantage of that. So, yeah, I'm giving it to the Panthers.